Hello, hi, my name is Lauren Truitt and I am a health fitness professional here at the Mandel Fitness Center. And today's What's What lecture is about HIIT. And I'm sure you have heard about HIIT before and you're like, what is that? I have no idea. It's very common nowadays. You go to any gym and you're gonna see a HIIT or an interval style workout on the schedule, and a lot of gyms are doing it nowadays. So it's been around for 10 plus years. Yeah, it's just new, it's popular, and we're gonna talk about it. So these are just the basic guidelines to physical activity per week. So the guidelines of most academic societies recommend 150 or 75 minutes of moderate or vigorous intensity physical activities, respectively, every week to gain health benefits. So just keep that in mind with any type of exercising, whether it's HIIT, strength, endurance-based. You want to stay as consistent as you can throughout your week, throughout the months, years into your health and wellness. So it's not just one workout, it really needs to be every week. We're trying to hit 150 minutes if we can. Okay, so what is HIIT? And like I said, H.I.I.T is like, what does that mean? I'm sure you've heard it tons of times. So it's basically just high intensity interval training. That's just what it stands for, okay? So it's basically just really high intervals and then lower periods of rest. So HIIT was initially created for improving cardiovascular fitness in Olympic athletes in the early 1900s. So it's been around for a while, but was really only used in the Olympics for fitness, okay, by increasing the athlete's uptake of VO2 max. And we'll kind of get into the VO2 max in the later slides. But basically, yeah, the Olympics, people wanted to get better, they wanted to get faster, stronger, they wanted to obviously win. So they implemented this type of training into their routine, okay? So increasing a person or an athlete's VO2 max would essentially increase the heart's ability to pump as much oxidized blood, so just blood oxygen, with each stroke as possible. So basically just trying to get that blood through the organs to the muscles and just to improve your level of fitness. So in just simpler terms for us, right? High intensity interval training is described as a workout routine that cycles through short periods of heart pounding cardio or strength exercises and rest times. Note that it said short periods of cardio and strength exercise and short periods of rest, right? The whole point of this is to do those intervals in shorter time frames, okay? So it's not 5 minutes of exercise and then 5 minutes of rest. It's more of 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe a minute of that high intensity, and then also shorter rest periods as well, okay? That's the whole point of HIIT. Okay, so here's a quick example. You have 20 seconds of sprints and then maybe 10 seconds of a light jog, maybe a walk, okay? And you're doing that through multiple rounds, okay? And this example is more of speed interval training. So it's a different type of interval training, but it's still high intensity, right? Sprinting, you're going as hard as you can for those 20 seconds and then you're bringing it down. And in my example, in my case years ago, that was something that I worked on to increase my mile time and just my mile in general. I could only run a half mile without stopping. And I was like, you know what, let me try something different. So I tried to do this, which I just, sprinted for 30 seconds on, did a nice light jog for 30 seconds off, and it really improved my time. It also helped me go longer, faster, and I got stronger too. And then, so HIIT requires alternating bouts of high intensity exercise at 80% to 90% of your heart rate max, okay? And then those active rates, like that rest recovery, is about 50 to 60 of your heart rate, okay? So maybe you're like, Lauren, I have no idea what my max is. What's my heart rate max, okay? You can find it, and it's an estimate, okay? So it's 220 minus your age to find that estimated range of your max. For example, I'm 25 years old, so 220 minus my age would be 195 beats per minute is like my max, okay? Give or take, I could probably be 5 beats ahead or below, but we're trying to be at 80 to 95% of that max as a total, okay? Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of HIIT. Okay, that's super important. Like, what's the point of doing HIIT? Why would you want to stress yourself, put all that stress on your body in 30, 45 seconds? Why would you want to get your heart rate up that high? It seems like a lot, right? Well, it's time efficient for sure. Okay, this is like the #1 reason why people do like go for HIIT workouts in their routine throughout their week. Especially nowadays, like we don't have time anymore. We work a lot, we have kids, we have, you know, crazy routines. So time is everything for us, right? So this is something you could do in the mornings, on your lunch break, in the evenings. It could be as short as 15 minutes and it could be as long as 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how much time you have. So that's super important with the time efficiency for sure, okay? Next would be increased anaerobic output, okay? And anaerobic is basically just the energy system. During HIIT, it requires no oxygen, so we're just really huffing and puffing, getting really out of breath, and we don't have oxygen to supply to our muscles and our organs, right? That's the system we use. So basically, you'll be able to walk up the stairs better. You'll be able to run faster. Like I said in that last example, I was able to run farther. I was able to run faster and not feel so winded. Okay, so we'll be able to increase that output. This is a really great benefit as well, is there's no equipment needed. So if you're someone who needs a time crunch, you're like, I have no equipment at home, I don't have time to go to the gym, I only have time for 15, 20 minutes, you can do this all body weight if you wanted to. You can also add weights as well, but it's something that you can do all body weight exercises if needed. Like for instance, a burpee. I don't know if you guys have ever done a burpee, but do 3, 4 of those to 20 and you're already winded, okay? So that's a really good example of a total body exercise. This is super important as well, and a lot of people don't really understand it as well, but it burns calories post-workout, which is super important for some people. Obviously, calories aren't everything when it comes to exercise, but it's really important to know that when you're putting that much stress on your body, that high interval, okay, I gotta say that over and over again, because if it's just low impact, low intervals, low intensity, then you're not gonna see as much calories burnt on the after effect of your workout. So basically this is just called EPOC. It's excess post oxygen consumption, okay? And basically your body just needs to get back to that resting state, to have all that oxygen that you had when you were doing, you know, sleeping, eating breakfast, whatever. Obviously, like I said, when you're doing high intensity exercise, you are breathing heavy, right? You can barely catch your breath. So that's just your body telling you, hey, I have less oxygen going through my body. So after your workout, when your heart rate's cooled down, and you have time to catch your breath, that's kind of when you're starting to burn more calories after your workout. And what's really cool is there's a lot of research out there, but you can burn those extra calories 15 minutes after your workout to 48 hours. So that's like a huge window. I would probably say around maybe 24 hours, but we're all different, right? So it could be different, you know, depending on the person, okay? And the exercise, like I said, it has to be that higher intensity, and duration's a huge factor into that EPOC, those calories burned after. And then last but not least, it's creative and challenging, okay? It's fun. HIIT workouts, like you can do anything. You can do body weighted exercises, you can add strength in there, you can sprint, you can do lighter intervals, like maybe a walk, jog. So there's just so much variety with it. And like I said, it's challenging, right? We're going as to our peak, if we can, for a shorter period of time. And it's quick, it's fun, it's efficient. Yeah, so that's why it's become so popular, because there's so much to do. For example, like Orange Theory, that's a great, they love to do that. It's very, you know, community oriented, and it's a lot easier just to go in and have timed intervals. Awesome. So what are the cons to HIIT? Okay, there's always pros and cons to everything, but here are some main cons that you need to know going into HIIT workouts, okay? High intensity can lead to injury if not done properly. So for example, during Orange Theory, not to knock them down or CrossFit or anything, but a lot of those quick movements and those shorter time frame, let's say 30 seconds of work, sometimes we're just trying to go as fast as we can, right? Because that's what we're told, like go as hard and as fast as we can. Sometimes if we have heavier weight, it can lead to, you know, improper form, which obviously can lead to injury. So that's just to keep in mind. Obviously, if you're doing body weight, just being careful to, when you're jumping, to land soft on your knees and everything. So, but like I said, soreness. I'm not sure if you've ever been really sore and you go to the gym the next day, and your range of motion is just, you know, weaker, and yeah, you just aren't able to lift as much weight. Well, during HIIT, sometimes you're just going and you don't realize it at the time. So that's just important to know. Overtraining. If you're just doing HIIT workouts, you know, 5 days a week, even 4, 5, 6 days a week, because they're shorter durations, right? 15, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, super easy to get done in 5 days a week. Sometimes we can overtrain and really just affect our muscles and our joints and our bodies. So just think of that when you're going into HIIT workouts. And then last but not least, this is important. A lot of people don't know that HIIT workouts can increase your lactic acid, which is basically just your soreness. So that achy soreness you feel after a workout. Obviously you can get sore doing strength, endurance exercise, but with that high intensity, like I said, that's kind of what builds up that lactic acid, okay? Okay, so here's just a interval versus endurance training. What's best for you and your goals? I know there's a lot out there. There's strength, there's endurance, there's intervals, there's so much out there and it can be overwhelming. Basically, it just depends on your goal. Okay, so if you just want good, healthy heart, you just want to feel better, you want to get off your medication, you can definitely see all those amazing results doing HIIT, strength and endurance, kind of doing everything. Or if you just really enjoy HIIT, do HIIT, you know? It depends on your goal. So endurance training, okay, maybe you're training for a marathon or a triathlon, right? You need to focus a little bit more on endurance, right? Because that's the main energy system used in a triathlon or a marathon, right? You're going for a longer time frame, duration. Obviously HIIT is more short term, right? It's very, that short amount of intervals. So endurance training is performed at 60 to 70% of your maximum oxygen intake. So like we saw with HIIT, it's more of 80% to 95% of that heart rate max. Endurance is more 60 to 70. So just to give you a good idea. Training at 60 to 70 of your max heart rate can over time reduce both your resting heart rate and blood pressure, which are both great signs of improved cardiovascular health. So in general, I'm just saying whatever works for you, what you enjoy doing. Exercise is just great in general. So if you enjoy endurance style, going on longer walks, going on a long run, that's great as well. But they're both awesome. And then here's just a sample HIIT workout, okay? I thought these were just fun and they're different. So you could do a minute of mountain climbers, okay? And these are, like I said, just samples for you, but a minute of mountain climbers, then 30 seconds of rest. Whether that is walking around, just trying to catch your breath, literally sitting for a second, that's rest interval as well. Then a minute of push-ups, okay? Whether they're on your knees or the total body, then 40 seconds of resting intervals, then 1 minute of like running in place high knees, and then 50 seconds of rest, and then maybe 1 minute of squats, okay? Then you want to do that at least, 4, 5, 6 more times, okay? To really hit that 30-minute duration. Then I thought this one was really cool. It's a pyramid scheme. So you could do burpees 5 times, you could do push-ups 10 times, and then squats for 15, and then increase, okay? Then you're gonna do 10, 20, 30, and then you're gonna go 15, 30, 45, and then go back down that ladder. So you climbed up, and then you're gonna go back down. You can do that once, twice, and make it fun, And then last but not least, sample weekly training splits. This is basically if you're like, Lauren, I have no idea how to incorporate HIIT into my routine or strength, endurance, I like all 3. What should I do? Basically, you want to hit every major muscle group 3 times a week, okay? So I would try to hit endurance and then strength one day and then the interval, okay? Maybe you enjoy strength more, okay? But you still want to get a little bit of a HIIT, whether that's 5, 10 minutes. I would do your strength session first and then maybe your HIIT after to save all that energy for your strength, and then do some body weighted HIIT for 5, 10 minutes. But yeah, so that's just, you do it 3 days a week. Always give yourself about 24 hours to 48 hours in between each session, okay? You want to recover, you want to rest, so you can obviously not hurt yourself and see results. And then last but not least, find workouts that work best for you and your lifestyle and your situation, okay? We're all busy people, but sometimes some people enjoy the gym more than others, okay? Some people enjoy HIIT workouts or low impact exercises more than others. So find something that works best for you that's gonna stay consistent week to week, month to month. And just don't be too hard on yourself. Any exercise is better than no exercise. So thank you guys. You can email us at themandelfitness@townofpalmbeach.com if you have any questions.